Hi, I'm Kate. Welcome to Blooms in the Yard. Today I'm going to be sharing some tips that I brought back with me on my trip to San Diego. I was able to take a winter vacation for the first time ever to get away from the cold Kansas City weather and go somewhere warm and sunny with blooms and beautiful foliage. And I wanted to just share some things that I learned. Nothing brand new, but just reinforcing things that I knew and showing that no matter where you live, it's not necessarily about the specific plants that you're growing, but there are some design concepts that will work anywhere. As soon as we got off the plane, we got the rental car, we were driving from the airport to our Airbnb. There were some, I don't know exactly what bushes they were, big bushes with big pinkish fuchsia flowers. And the sun was shining, and I turned to my husband and I said, all these blooms are giving life to my soul. I do wish that I had a few more pictures, but I was trying to be in the moment with my family and not like make them stop every 10 feet so that I could take more pictures. So I don't have as many pictures as I would like to, but this wasn't a trip that I was just taking just me to make this video. It was a family trip, and so hopefully I got enough. You can kind of get the idea of what I was seeing and why I was enjoying it. Honestly, the trip far exceeded my expectations. I knew it would be warmer, but I wasn't expecting quite as many blooms or just beautiful green foliage. The sun shined so much brighter there, and it was just such a blessing to be able to go. And so I just wanted to talk about a few things that I was reminded of on my trip that I can bring back and use in my garden, even though I'm not going to be able to grow the same plants that I saw. We stayed in La Jolla at a little Airbnb. It was such a beautiful area, and the one thing I loved about it was that it was walkable. And so one day we walked to the farmer's market, and we walked to the tide pools, we walked to the beach, we walked to a little taco stand, so it was really fun. And I just loved the like 10-minute walks, and all along the way you're able to look in these little tiny courtyard gardens and see what people are doing with their tiny gardens in San Diego. One thing I always seem to bring back with me whenever I visit somewhere that's more urban than Kansas City, like here I live in the suburbs, I have a decent sized yard, and La Jolla, I almost hate to say it's even urban because it's so green and beautiful, but definitely their gardening spaces are pretty tiny. And so whenever I travel anywhere more urban like that, or places where they just have less space, the one thing that I always take back with me is like, look how much they can accomplish in such a little space. And then I come back to my, comparatively speaking, giant yard and think, I can be doing so much more. I can fit so much more. It's all about using that vertical space, layering your plants, and creating levels with hardscaping materials. That was a big one that I really noticed this time. I love building rock walls, so I'm doing a little bit of it, but I felt like I just saw even more of that there. And you know, there were some natural hills, and so it's naturally like those opportunities to create those levels. But I think even when you have a flat space, you can do that. And it just like gives so many opportunities for things to be draping over walls. I love the interest of the hardscaping materials. It's like, wow, if it was just those plants and it didn't have hardscape, it wouldn't look nearly as good. Now, hardscape is something that I haven't done a lot of, and it's budget for me. You know, basically everything I've done has been with free rocks that, you know, you can get at construction sites, or I get a lot of them in my own yard. And so budget is always an issue, but you can be creative with concrete that you kind of do yourself, and stepping stones. And a really great place to find some hardscaping materials is on Facebook Marketplace. You can find old bricks and all that kind of stuff. Another important element in designing a garden is using a variety of plant sizes. When everything is all 1 or 2 feet tall, it's kind of boring. It's good to have some taller things, some trees, some large bushes, some medium-sized bushes, some ground covers. Really important to have all that variety, and especially in these tinier gardens, it was really important, and it really added a lot of interest and made it feel overflowing and full. Again, just coming home, even though I usually feel like my garden is probably about as full as it can get and I can't fit that many more plants, but after going to La Jolla, I was like, I think I can fit a lot more plants. These homes that have these tiny, tiny garden spaces have a lot going on and are able to accomplish it by using the vertical space and layering with plants and hardscape materials, making levels. The second thing, and this, again, this is not new to me, but this trip so cemented this in my mind, like, yes, this is so important. And that is to have an amazing garden as much of the year as possible. It's all about foliage. You need to have a variety of foliage colors. You need to have a variety of foliage textures. And that foliage needs to be healthy looking for a lot of the year. I love anything with waxy leaves because in my mind, that just makes it look really healthy. You know, like it's got that moisture and it's got what it needs to be big and healthy looking. So some plants that I just don't love that I know a lot of people like, one of them is Cosmos, because the needle-like texture of Cosmos to me does not look healthy. And so I just love, healthy looking foliage. So yeah, foliage color, foliage texture, and waxy leaves. I'm a sucker for waxy leaves. The reason that the foliage is so important is because, the blooms, unless you're really into annuals, which I know a lot of people are. I'm not an annual person per se. Blooms are great, but they just don't last that long, and you're probably going to be looking at the foliage for 6 to 9 months of the year. And so having a good variety of colors so they can play off of each other and add some contrast is really important. Having, again, different textures is going to keep your garden looking interesting through the entire season. And then the blooms are just a bonus on top of that. I really am starting to choose plants based on their foliage. I recently bought some clethra for a job. I had planned to buy one kind of clethra, and when I got to the nursery, the leaves just looked a little more waxy and a little more healthy. And so I went ahead and bought the other one that the leaves looked really healthy on. And I had seen a clethra in a demonstration garden and really loved the look of the waxy leaves. And so I do go for that healthy looking foliage. Okay, so we have that we can fit more stuff into the garden than we think we can if we do it thoughtfully with lots of good layers. Number 2 was how important foliage is. And number 3, this might be a little more dependent on climate, but I'm gonna make it work in my garden. Many of the courtyards in La Jolla and the garden beds, the containers were filled with these succulents. And I did not realize that so many things that I grow in containers and as annuals can get as big as the ones that I was seeing there. So it was just really cool to see these succulents getting so big and doing so well. I was particularly enamored with the jade plants, which I saw all over there, and they were just so much larger than I'm used to and so different than the house plants that I'm used to growing. I just fell in love all over again with succulents. And you guys know I like succulents. I did a video with a succulent container, and I have kind of talked about how I bring my succulents in over the winter and they get long and leggy, and then I chop them off and put them in dirt, put them in fresh dirt, and they go back out in the garden. So I like to grow succulents, but it was so wonderful to see these big, huge succulents growing just in the ground there. And I know that that's not really an option for me here, but I've been thinking how can I create that same look? So one way is obviously using sedums. They have, again, those really pretty, waxy, healthy looking leaves, and they're coming out with more and more sedums. So they're coming out with ones that have red leaves and variegated leaves. And so I'm definitely trying to use a variety of sedums in my garden. I've tried donkey tail euphorbia and another really pretty euphorbia that I just kind of bought on a whim at my local garden center. And they each actually survived the first winter and then died the second winter. And so I am going to be on the lookout for other kind of substitutes that I can use that I might be able to use as perennials in the ground here that have a similar look to succulents. I was even thinking, like, should I try to take some of these larger succulents that I buy or that I overwinter and go ahead and put them in the ground and see how they do, I mean, as annuals. Put them in the ground as annuals just because I just so much loved the look of these large succulents in the ground, that look, and up to this point I've only grown them in containers. So I'm considering maybe putting some annual succulents in the ground this next year just because I liked the look of that. And then I would dig them up in the fall and bring them in again. Here in Kansas City, we are limited to sedums as far as perennials go. But if anybody knows of anything that has a similar look to succulents that would be hardy in zone 6, please leave it in the comments because I would love to find out about that. I am happy that the perennial sedums are now available in such a range of colors. And I will be on the lookout for anything that might be able to get me the look of succulents that I can grow as a perennial here in Kansas City. So those are the 3 main takeaways for me from my trip to La Jolla. 1, I'm going to layer more and fit as many wonderful plants in this garden as possible using interesting foliage with a variety of colors and textures, and trying to choose plants based on how healthy and shiny the leaves look to me. And lastly, I am going to find a way to fit in some more succulent or succulent looking plants in my garden this next year. It was just an amazing trip and a nice relaxing way to get away from the cold for a few days. If all goes well, my next video next week will be about a plan that I worked on at my mom's house, which is a smaller space. She does live in a townhome with maintenance provided, so there are just a couple of beds and spaces that she can work on. And so my next video, hopefully next week, will be about that. And then I'm probably gonna get started on maybe starting some seeds and starting to really think about spring. Like, it's coming faster than we realize. We're halfway through January. So for me, I'm gonna be getting out probably March 1st. I'll be starting to do some things out in the garden and be watching my bulbs come up. So we're only a month and a half away, really, in my mind, from the beginning of garden season, which is really exciting. I actually feel like I have so much to do, kind of get done inside the house before then, that I actually feel like, oh, it's coming really quickly. But hopefully the end of January, beginning of February, I'm going to be starting a lot of seeds. I also need to be assessing the houseplant / annual situation, because I am not a good inside plant mom at all. I am like terrible. I'm just barely keeping these plants alive. And so I'm watering them like every week or every 2 weeks. And I really need to get in there and take out all the dead stuff and just kind of maybe pot some things into new soil, and a lot of maintenance needs to be done. That might be kind of a scary video, but I probably will bring you guys along as I try to resuscitate the annuals that I'm overwintering up in front of my south-facing window in the plant room. It's my husband's office, but it's half plant room now. So those are some of the videos that will be coming up soon. Hope you guys are having a wonderful January. Thanks for watching.